Hi everyone, I think it's time for me to drop the lore finally on my stalker. We're not going to use any names just so I don't get in trouble, but I think it's important to bring awareness on this topic because if I hadn't been so aware of my surroundings, I probably wouldn't have ever noticed him. So we're just going to call him Stalker in this video, but he is 72 years old and he's my neighbor. Well, technically, he lives in the neighboring condo beside mine. So, neighbor, whatever, he's a freak. So, the first event happened back in August. I came home from work one day. Keep in mind, this week my dad is out of town, okay? So, nobody's at my condo. My little brother's at his mom's house. And I come back from work, and one of the chairs from my balcony had moved from the main living room sliding glass all the way to my sliding glass door. For reference, there is a wind breaking wall, and all three of these chairs sit on the main living room glass, like the main living room sliding glass door. So the odds of that chair being moved around that wind breaking wall and being perfectly placed in front of my sliding glass door is not common and really freaking bizarre. So I brought this up and everyone dismissed this as the wind. At this point, I'm at high alert because I watch a lot of true crime, so that was just not a coincidence to me. Nothing's a coincidence, keep that in mind. So, the second event. Me and Jeannie are sitting on my balcony. It's night again. My dad's out of town again. And all of a sudden, this white Mercedes goes like it's going to cut off the roundabout, like every car does. Every car does not go around the roundabout. We just cut it off and go right up the ramp to my condo. And that's what this car proceeds to do. So it starts to do that, but as it goes up the ramp and it gets kind of eye level with my extended terrace, it reverses all the way down the ramp and starts to go around the roundabout again and stops at every point in the roundabout where there is a site like access where you can see on my balcony. So this is also weird and something we noted, and we freaked out and ran inside. So at this point, I had the chair and this weird white car, and from that point on, I would always see this white Mercedes. I see this white Mercedes everywhere. So I'm starting to note that maybe this white Mercedes is watching me. So now let's talk about when my stalker finally decides to show himself. So Jeannie and I are back again, sitting on the balcony late at night. My dad is again out of town. And we're talking and doing whatever, and all of a sudden, I look out into the roundabout and I see a man wearing all black with a white hat on, staring directly at my balcony. Weird. It's 10 o'clock at night. That's weird. So I freak out. I'm like, I knew it. I grab Jeannie and I'm like, Jeannie, someone's watching us. We go and we hide in my room. Keep in mind, I have a sliding glass door, so I can still see out from my balcony. So as we run into my room, my stalker moves from the roundabout to the sidewalk and is now staring again at my balcony. So I turn the lights off in my room. I try to shut the hurricane shutters down. And as I'm shutting the hurricane shutters down, I watch him walk underneath my balcony. So I freak out and I call my little brother and I'm like, you need to come here right now. Someone is watching me. Like, you need to get here. So Nick drives over and Nick pulls in to where my car is parked and he finds him. He finds the man in the white hat and dressed in all black. And this man says that he is standing out there smoking a cigar and cleaning his car. Where's your car in the roundabout, babe? Who cleans a car at 11 p.m. at night? You're an old geezer. Who's cleaning? Whatever. So Nick, being a naive 18-year-old, leaves me. So again, I'm freaking out. The security guards know now. Fast forward a couple nights. Jeannie and I, again, on the balcony, hanging out. Dad out of town. And we are standing on the balcony, and we go back into my house, and all of a sudden, the door's locked. We can't open the sliding glass door. This isn't like a normal, the lock could fall. Like, you have to press up and press down for this door to lock, and it's locked. Jeannie and I are locked outside. As we are locked outside, who arrives? Stalker. Him and his white Mercedes. This is about 20 minutes after being locked outside. After being locked outside for 20 minutes, he drives his white Mercedes again to this roundabout, goes around the roundabout, stops at a point where there's direct access, gets out of his car, grabs a rag, and starts cleaning his car. It is 10 p.m. at night. Cleaning his car in the roundabout. For what? So I'm stranded. I feel like I'm freaking out at this point. So I call the cops. Okay. I finally pull the trigger. I call the cops. cops come, firefighters come. This is a huge event. This is the point though where I learn my stalker's name, his age, where he lives. I learn everything about him. So that next week, I spent the whole week going to the police station, filing like restraining orders. I did the whole shebang, and I thought, finally, it's over. Until my dad met my stalker. My dad goes up to the cabana one night, and we have pictures of my stalker now. So my dad goes up to the cabana, and who does he see? My stalker with his wife and his kids. His grown kids. His daughter's like 40, and she has babies with his grandkids. And my dad sees them. So my dad decides to go up and say some words, okay? No harm in it. And the entire time my dad is confronting my stalker is keeping his head down, and he's not acknowledging my dad. And at the end of it, my dad was like, do we have a deal that you're going to stop watching my daughter? And he didn't respond. He didn't respond. That's literally like the creepiest, most eerie thing ever. So that happened. And fast forward to last week, Christmas Day. I walk out of my condo to go to where my sister's sitting on the bench, and so does Stalker. Stalker walks out of his condo, and we literally run into each other, like physically, like run into each other. And I know his name now. Oh, and he doesn't know that. And he's jaw dropped that he's seeing me right now. He's like, creepy. How do you know what I look like if you're only looking from afar? Anyway, jaw on the ground. And I just say his name because he doesn't know that I know his name. And I go, hi, Stalker. Freaks out, goes and starts swimming, doing laps, and watching me while he swims. So that's my last update. I cannot do anything until he goes back on my property. So if you're watching this, Stalker, I dare you.
Time about how I found out I was 33 weeks pregnant at 16 years old. I'm also trying to use TikTok as some sort of an income, so basically the more you interact with this video, like, share, repost, follow, click any of my buttons, it will boost it so more people can discover my account to follow along with my journey of teenage motherhood. Now 14 months postpartum and finally feel like I am ready to talk about this. Yes, I have made a TikTok about this before, but I didn't really give much detail. I had a lot of questions, and so I'm going to try and make this a very detailed story time. And before I start, just a little disclaimer, in no way am I trying to support or promote teen pregnancy, because that I am not. I am just making the best out of my situation and trying to be there for others in the same situation as me. Anyways, now that I have all of that over with, let's get into it. So basically, my freshman year, I was 15 years old, and that is when I got pregnant, but I did not find out until I was about a quarter of the way through my sophomore year, and I was 16 at that point. So this was in about October. Rumors started to fly around that I was pregnant because I was gaining weight, and I live in a super small town where as soon as one person says something, the whole town knows, and it was actually insane how fast these rumors spread. And you're probably wondering, what do you mean by rumors? If you were pregnant, they weren't rumors. But in this case, they were rumors because I didn't know, so they were spreading information that wasn't true at this point in time. Also, I hadn't taken a pregnancy test because I did not suspect pregnancy whatsoever. And yes, was that 16-year-old me probably being in a little bit of denial because I was scared that that could be an option? Absolutely yes. I will admit that I am old enough, mature enough, and just in general, I will admit that. But I had never taken a test because in my mind, it just wasn't a possibility. I had been to the doctor in June, I had gotten a physical, I was cleared to play sports. Like, there was just nothing there that was saying, wow, you're pregnant. Anyways, now we are about halfway through October, and teachers' convention is coming up, and my mom and I have been talking about it, and we were like, I really need to go to the doctor because we need to figure out what is wrong with me. Another reason that we did not suspect pregnancy was because I was still getting my period. I never missed a period through my whole pregnancy. We found out, and I got off birth control. So I was also on birth control for 33 weeks of my whole pregnancy, and that in turn was mimicking my period. And so I was consistently getting a period every month, the same time of the month. And I had a lot of people on the last time I did a story time say this is considered a cryptic pregnancy, and it was not that because I was showing and I did have symptoms. I didn't have very obvious symptoms. I just got really swollen right at the 33-week mark. I was like a puffball. That was another one of the reasons that we were going in, because we thought I was retaining a lot of fluid and had no idea why. So basically, flash forward to I think what was October 12th or somewhere in there, we went to the doctor. We got out at 1 o'clock this day, and so I think I had an appointment at like 3 or 3:30. And we went in, and our first thought was maybe I had a tumor or a cyst or something of the sort. And so that is what we checked for first. And for anybody who is going to comment, why didn't I pee in a cup? Why didn't I do any of that? I don't know. I am not the doctor. That was not my choice. I'm not the doctor. He gets the ultrasound machine. He does an ultrasound like up here, just because we don't know what it is, if it's something on my liver we wanted to know, kind of a thing. And then he asked if I had been taking my birth control consistently, and that I had. I had never missed my birth control, nothing like that. And so I was the percentage that can get pregnant on birth control. It was like, I think you might be pregnant, but I'm not sure. I'm not radiology tech. Like, I'm gonna get somebody in here that knows, and we'll see. So then he leaves the room. I am like distraught because I'm like, what the heck is going on? I didn't think this was even possible. I knew it was possible, but I didn't think it was possible. And my mom's in there. She's just really supporting me. She's like, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna figure it out. Da 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 da. And so then, probably about 5 minutes later, the radiology tech comes in and she does an ultrasound, and she's like, from the measurements, I think you are 33 weeks pregnant, but I'm going to need you to come back for a full anatomy scan to know for sure. So that was insane. She said 33 weeks, and our jaws dropped. No way did I think I was pregnant, let alone that far along. Very taken aback by that, but we took that news with a grain of salt, and they drew my blood, just made sure everything was healthy, and we were then not going to tell anyone we had gotten the full anatomy scan to know that the baby was okay, because at this point in time I was taking no caution, still drinking energy drinks, having meat sandwiches, like all of those kinds of things. Never, though, did I drink or vape, so this baby was not going to have any issues like that. We knew that for sure. I will never touch a vape or drink in any manner. There were people who said they knew I was pregnant the whole time. No, you didn't. They didn't. They said they've known since I got pregnant. They were hypothesizing things. It was just so hard for me to go through, especially being the only one in my town going through it, because I was in a class of like 50 kids. So that is just like, goes to show you how small my town is. And I'm just hopping on here that if you get pregnant young, you are definitely going to see people's true colors, because people are going to start so many rumors. Like, there was a rumor that I was doctoring in another town and that I knew the whole time. From people that we thought were our friends, they were not. Nobody liked to ask me questions. They always like to go around it. So then I think that Monday we go back, I get an ultrasound, they make sure everything's okay, and we get a call 2 hours later saying everything is fine, baby is healthy, and that was the most relieving news. And at that point, we also found out that it was a girl. Also hopping on here because I've realized I have not made it very obvious that the baby daddy still is in my life, and he has been since I got pregnant. Would like to make that very clear. And yes, we're still dating. Just thought that needed to be said. After we found that out, we then confirmed it to our friends, our family, everything like that, just because we knew everything was healthy. Now that everybody knows, we have started to get feedback from the community. We've started to get messages. We got a few negative ones, mostly positive. We did have a lot of support. And then about 3 weeks later, I was not leaving my house. I would not go anywhere. That was it. I was so ashamed. And I don't even want to say ashamed, because I'm not ashamed of my daughter and I go out now, but it was just so hard for me to go out in public after that, as I think it would be for anybody, because people can be so judgmental and so rude about it. But most of the messages were positive, which was really encouraging for me. I had people reach out with their own stories, things like that, super encouraging. I stayed home, I ignored what a lot of people had to say, and that was probably the toughest part for me, was staying strong and not coping into what everybody else said I should have done. I had people that I thought were best friends tell me that I should have unalived my baby or gave it up for adoption. No, thank you. That was not an option for me. I immediately knew I was keeping her. I never thought about terminating the baby, and I do not know if it was an option because I never even thought about it. My aunt and some of her friends, they all got together and threw a baby shower for me. Invited all of my friends, and a lot of them did come, which I am very grateful for. I'm grateful to have those amazing people in my life, and even if we aren't as close right now, I still know they're there for me and support me through all of it, because they did things like show up to my baby shower. During my baby shower, I had about 2 weeks left to prepare for baby. I had my baby over Thanksgiving, so both my sisters were home. My boyfriend was here, obviously. We both live here. He was a senior in high school this year that we had our daughter. And everyone was here. I went in. My beautiful daughter arrived via planned C-section that morning, and my life changed for the better ever since. So if you guys made it this far, make sure you comment if you want any other story times, further detail on this. That was a lot of detail I just gave, but I could definitely go more in depth about certain parts. If you guys want to know, just let me know. But thank you guys so much for sitting here and listening. And if you are young and pregnant right now, everything is going to be all right, and this baby will truly save you in the end. I love you guys. Bye.
I have been very strongly debating whether or not I want to share this story because I didn't want to give him as big of a platform as this. But I feel like we have to talk about it. Also, I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm addicted to Nerds gummies. So that's an important fact about me. I'm actually addicted to candy in general. Bonbon is pretty much my life. I've actually talked a little bit about this already, but specifically my very toxic XX. He deeply, deeply fucked me up for many, many years of my life because he was lying to me for essentially the entirety of our relationship. In fact, the basis of our relationship was formed on a lie. We met in California on a dating app. I had no intention of ever being in a relationship with anyone that I met in California because I didn't live in California. But I have spent a lot of time there because my mom's side of the family lived there, and my grandma at the time was very, very sick. I had about 3 years of sobriety at this point, so not an insignificant amount of time, but I was still very much in my I need external validation, and I was searching for anything to like escape from the pain of my grandma being sick. And at this point in my life, that was men. And so I went on a dating app just looking for a distraction, and that's exactly what I got. And when I met him, he basically saw the tattoo on the back of my neck that is now being removed. Actually, it's almost fully removed. It's basically removed. But it's one of the only tattoos that I got when I was using drugs. I was actually relapsing, and I got a tattoo because I wanted drugs from the tattoo artist, and I thought it would require me to get a tattoo. It wouldn't have, okay? It wouldn't have. But I would literally, at this point, have done anything, so I got a tattoo. The tattoo said, "Stay lifted." Yes, as a sober woman, I would not have needed this tattoo. And so my response to people when they asked me what it was is I said, we don't talk about that. It was from a different time in my life. Actually, I think I would more likely say, oh, that's from when I was using drugs. We don't talk about that. And if they don't know I'm sober, like now they know. And then most of the time, either nothing else comes of it or this starts a whole another conversation, which like I honestly love talking about if that wasn't clear. I also find that it gets us out of small talk and like into something a little more juicy. But in this particular case, he said, oh, are you sober? And I said, yeah, I have 3 years. And he said, oh, I'm sober too. And I said, oh, how much time do you have? To which he said, oh, I got a year a couple months ago. If you don't know anything about sobriety, you are a crazy person in the first year of sobriety. Like, your brain is healing. You don't know, like, who you are, what you are. Everything is messed up. You're incredibly emotional. You're very erratic. Like, you don't want to be dating anyone in your first year of sobriety. And they literally tell you in AA, do not date anyone or do not make any giant life decisions in your first year of sobriety because you just, like, don't know how you're going to feel after the first year. So you basically just want to like give yourself a chance to like figure out who you are and what you are before you like make any giant life decisions. And this is all important because basically, although I did not expect to see this man ever again after this time I met him, we just like kept talking and he asked to visit me at school, to which I said, okay, dumb, shouldn't have said that, nor should I have been talking to him at all. But whatever. We realize this only now, and he came to visit me. At this point, like, let's not kid ourselves, like, we were dating, and he visited me. We had a lovely time. Nothing really seemed to be going wrong until basically a year into the relationship. That's not true. There were definitely red flags, but ones that didn't seem like that crazy, and I can't even really remember that much. It wasn't until he went back to his hometown, and I was not there. I was at school. It was my last semester. And he, after literally a year of having talked to him every single day and being long distance for basically the whole time, but still having very consistent communication, he fell off the face of the earth. And knowing that he was home, I like at this point like had a relationship with like his mom and his friends and was like, haven't heard from him. To which his friends and family told me, well, neither have I, like we just have to assume the worst. And I'm like, what do you mean the worst? And they were like, well, we just have to assume that he's using drugs again. And I was like, wait, how do we get there? And basically learned that this is like not new behavior for him, and like he has had a really bad history of relapse. And I was like, to most of which I didn't know. I knew that there was some relapse, but I didn't know that like that was going to be their assumption. And I was like, well, why would he do that? Like, he's been sober for like 2.5 years. Like, that doesn't make any sense. To which they said, what do you mean 2 years? He just got a year. And I obviously am shocked. This means I just learned a year and a half or whatever into our relationship that he actually had lied to me when we met. And he had only 3 months of sobriety and he lied to me, obviously knowing that I would have never continued a relationship with him had I known that he only had 3 months of sobriety. So yeah, when I said that the foundation of our relationship was not a lie, I literally mean it. But at this point, it's also impossible. Like, I had very strong feelings for this man. Like, we had been together for a year. Like, it's very hard to just like end a relationship out of nowhere when you like learn one piece of information a year into the relationship. That being said, that's exactly what I should have done. But going back to like the many other videos I've made about codependency and like how bad that can be, like that's really what I was struggling with. Like I was so attached to this person and I couldn't imagine my life without them, even though it was only a year, that it was impossible for me to break up this relationship. Me now, I would have ran. Me then, I was still incredibly insecure. And I had told myself, like, no, I'm going to marry this man, like, all these things. And I didn't want to let any of that fantasy that I had created, like, go. And what then ensued was basically a 2-year-long relapse, lying, hiding, not having any idea what was going on, suffering from such deep anxiety that I, like, literally was hysterically sobbing multiple times a day. For 2 years, 2 whole years, like basically living in this state of, I wasn't even a person. Like, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. And that's why it's really hard for me to give other advice other than like, do not, being with someone as they are relapsing or in early recovery is a type of pain for another person that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. Because you are so completely powerless over another person's addiction. And when you feel so much need for control over someone else because you love them so much, and you're powerless over anything that happens, it's a recipe for disaster. And there was a lot more that went down that was like, made me very much feel very strongly against this man that wasn't his addiction. Like, I understand he was sick and there's only so much you can expect of a sick person, but it was really bad for so many reasons. To the point where finally, after 3 years, I mustered the courage to leave after he was basically doing drugs the entire time during my sober party. It got to the point where I finally had enough of his lies, and my friends were like refusing to be in the same room as him anymore. Which was the best thing in the world because it forced me to be like, okay, I'm now going to be choosing my friends or my boyfriend. And my friends are more important to me because they had been with me for much, much, much longer than this man had. And I had already isolated myself so much and I didn't want to keep doing that. As you can imagine, the breakup did not go well. And he said a lot of really terrible things, which I know was because he was still in his addiction at the time. But the lesson of all of this is, 1, never let a relationship isolate you. You need your people so much, and you need to make sure that you keep onto your own identity while you're in a relationship. Because if you lose yourself, everything is gone. And you will be too scared to leave the relationship when you need to, if you need to. 2, if someone is lying to you about something very big, it means they're lying to you about other big things. Don't let it slide. And 3, they always come back. 5 years later, I have not seen or spoken to this man. He is still talking about me. I heard it on a podcast. That's all. I love you.
My name is Lana, and I've been involuntarily unemployed for the past 6 months. I got laid off back in July of 2025 from my corporate job. I had that job for almost 3 years. I was working remotely. It was my source of income. It supplied me with everything. And then I was laid off due to budget and funding issues. I got laid off before I was about to make a huge move to California. I lived in Arizona at the time, and my home state is California, so I lived there for 3 years, and it was time to move back. And so me and my friend moved to California. On top of all of that, I was applying to a bunch of law schools early last year, and I had to rescind one of my college acceptances because I couldn't afford to take out loans on top of all of the expenses I currently have at the moment. I'm not happy with my current situation. I've been applying to jobs in mass amounts. I have done outreach. I've talked to friends and families. I've been referred to various positions. I've barely gotten less than 10 interviews thus far, and it's becoming such a debilitating process that I'm not sure what else to do. I started making TikTok videos more consistently after I lost my job. Before then, I was just posting whenever I posted just for fun, and then I was like, maybe I should try social media as a career, because I also am a photographer and did content creation for different brands and as well as marketing agencies early on. I didn't know what content to make. I didn't know what I wanted to bring onto this app, so I just tried to figure it out along the lines. I notated all of my video ideas that I wanted or had or wanted to bring up, and that was kind of how I just kept this consistency of posting, essentially. It's been difficult. Amongst all of that, I had a mental health crisis in between the months of August and October. It got to the point where it was really bad and I had to get help. I did what I could. I reached out to friends. I talked to my mom. I wanted to help myself. I didn't want to fall into a cycle of abuse. That wasn't fair for myself. And when you hate yourself so much, it's really hard to do anything. So I did what I could. I freelanced as much as I can. I applied, I sent emails, I tried to see if I could get some gigs to pay for a lot of things. And, you know, I had a good amount of money in my savings. I had a lot to provide for me, at least for another year. And so I wasn't like trying to worry myself. I kept telling myself that good things were coming, something promising is going to open doors for me, and just kept feeding myself positive affirmations. It does get to a point though. It gets to a point where I have to validate that the situation I'm in is not great, and it's also scary, and waking up every day having just an anxiety about not having a routine, not having a 9 to 5, because that's something that I grew up with the mindset of having. And my mom is very work oriented. She worked so hard to be where she is, and she's such a intelligent and logical woman. And I think that I use her as an example a lot of the time, because I didn't have exactly a great relationship with her growing up, and I think as I got older, we became best friends. Also adding that I come from a Middle Eastern background, and you know, there's like the golden 3, and it's engineer, doctor, lawyer. You have to go into one of those categories to be considered in success, or they have to see like that you have a massive amount of money from working in a various industry. And I essentially was never going to go into law, and it wasn't from the pressures of my family. They wanted me to go to medical school, and I was pre-med in college, and you know, I ended up graduating with my psychology degree and a minor in design. And I decided down the line that law is something that I became fascinated in. It was an industry I really wanted to work in, and I got a job being a data analyst for this company briefly. And you know, I didn't really like being a data analyst, but I wanted to be more like head-on in the law industry. With all of that in mind, I have been applying to schools in other master programs that I took a fascination to, and that's kind of what I am putting my full focus on. But at the moment, it's just been super difficult when you don't have promising income, and I feel very defeated. I feel very alone. I don't have anything to really look forward to in terms of careers and goals. I feel like I write down everything that I want, everything that I'm working hard towards, but I don't have anything that I'm currently super proud of. And I know there's a culmination of awful atrocities happening in this world. I do my best to have these conversations with friends and family, as well as bring it to light on social media. I post a lot about things that are happening on Instagram regarding current issues. And I feel very silly even talking about this because there's so much going on in the world. But at the same time, I can't have a disregard for myself. I have to take care of who I am. It honestly feels like I'm learning how to be a person again because I lost so much of myself after that. I feel like a big part of me is being so work-oriented, and in the past 10 years of working, I've never been as jobless as I have been for the past 6 months. I've never had a situation be this awful. I'm upset at the influx and disregard of what's happening to this country. I'm upset that this is affecting my neighbors and people around me. I'm upset that the people of this country are being betrayed, and it's just honestly all around disappointing and devastating. I'm in the stage of pretty much acceptance at the moment because I'm realizing it's not me that's not qualified for the job. I'm realizing there's not enough jobs, and there are hundreds and thousands of people applying for the same job posting that gets listed the same day. I got an interview with this company in the field that I work in December, or I guess November of last year, and I was so hopeful. I made it to the second interview, and all I had was one more interview, and they ended up deciding to go with another person. It's been really hard to just navigate and try to balance everything, because when you have personal stuff going on and you're like, oh well, I also have to pay rent and keep the lights on, it's a difficult situation because you want to disregard that you're feeling this way, because sadness isn't going to pay the bills, but it's something that your brain can't steer away from. This is going to be a really hard video for me to post. I'm probably going to post it and exit the app and not check for a few days, but it's happening to a lot of people. I feel like this should be said. If you're not a really close friend of mine or a family member, you don't know this information about me, but it's not situational. It's happening to millions of people. A lot of people have it worse than me, and I'm completely aware of that. But I don't know how many people this is going to reach, and it might not reach any, and that's okay. But I'm putting it out there just to show the few people that come across this video that you're not the only person struggling. It's an issue that's happening worldwide, and essentially I just miss who I was before I lost my job. I am completely aware that things happen for a reason beyond my comprehension, but when you don't have anything lined up, you can't disregard the fact that hopelessness is a valid feeling within it all. And I guess I just have to wait and keep trying and trying and trying until something falls into my lap.
Hey y'all, so here go the story time that y'all keep begging me for. Finally. I don't even know where to start with this story. It's so much. But, so, where we met was, okay, scratch that. So, I used to work at a pizza delivery place. And, I'm at work like normal. I parked in front of the store this day because they was redoing the parking lot. So, he's across the street, y'all. He was in a Hummer truck. He got out the car. I looked at him. He looked at me. We looking at each other, smiling. Y'all know how that be when you make eye contact with each other, and it's like you fall in love at first sight type shit. So, yeah. So I look at him. He looked at me. And he broke the ice. And he was like, so you gonna be my girlfriend or what? Me being a dumbass, I didn't think nothing about it. I'm like, this man fine. He tall. My jaw, I'm tall. He dressed nice. He looked well put together. So, we ended up exchanging numbers right in there. So, I ended up getting an order that was on the same block that he was on. So, I walked, no, I didn't walk. I drove to the corner, because he was in a corner house. So, I drove to the corner. And he walked up to my car, and we hugged each other like we just knew each other. My God, this man smelled good! He smelled so good. But, yes, he was like, I'm going to take you out later. We're going to go out later. And blase, blase. So, I was like, you got my number. You can text me and let me know when to be ready, whatever. So, he ended up saying we was going to go to the movies. And I forgot what movie was out there I wanted to see. But, long story short, I got off work. and we end up going to the movies. So we get to the movie, and this is the clip that y'all seen where he was like kissing my cheek and stuff. Like literally, this was a couple hours after we had just met. Literally, I'm finna insert the clip for y'all so y'all can see. Y'all, this video. Yeah, me not thinking nothing of it. So me being me, I'm just thinking like, oh, this is so cute. You know, I fantasize about love and all of that stuff. So I didn't think nothing of it. Whole time he's loved by me. So we walk off. Like we were standing like, this was before we even went into the movie. Standing there, I'm taking videos, whatever. I just showed y'all the video. So we walking into the theater and we holding hands like we done been together. Like we holding hands. So we get in the movie, and I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous. So, we watching the movie, whatever, you know, just chilling. No contact at all. Then eventually, I took my shoes off, and I, like, put my leg over his leg. We in the seats, like, stretched out. And I put my leg over his leg. So eventually, we watching the movie and stuff. We watching the movie, you know. And he was like, touch me. Like, he literally just wanted to feel some type of physical touch from me, because I was to myself, like, because I was nervous. So he grabbed my hand and he put it on his leg. So after that, you know, I got a little bit more comfortable. Like, I opened up a little more. Getting closer to him, like, cuddling in the seat. Well, in our seat. Then while we watching the movie, he's still kissing my cheek, you know, cute stuff. But yeah, y'all stay tuned for part 2. This is gonna get juicier. Okay, so hey y'all, this is part 2 of me messing around with an older guy. So we left the movies. My job, it was late at night. Like we were some of the last people walking out the movie theater. But yeah, everything was cool. On the drive home, like, he didn't ask to come to my house or anything. He didn't ask me to go to his house, but I ended up calling him on the way home. I talked to him the whole way home. So after that, we got close or whatever. It was on the phone every day. So y'all, I do hair. I don't know if y'all know that or not, but I do hair. And I told him that I do hair. So he ended up, like, constantly begging me to do his hair. And he was asking to come over to my house so that I can do his hair. And me personally, I don't want people to know where I live. So I did not tell him where I lived. And he could not come over to my house to get his hair done. Then on top of that, I barely even knew anything about this guy. I don't know where he lived at. I don't really know much about him. So, like, when on our phone calls and stuff, it'll be like, he'll be real secretive. Like, I ask him certain questions, he's like, he'll beat around the bush about it. Or he'll just, like, try to change the subject. And a lot of times, our phone calls will only be, like, when he's in his car driving. Or when he was at home, like, late at night in his bed or something. Or he'll call late at night when, you know, I'm sleeping. When, you know, I've been at work for 12 hours. Just to clarify, I do not still talk to this guy. I don't talk to him anymore. So eventually he started to ask, like, maybe we can get, like, a hotel or something so you can do my hair. This is the night where I posted that second video. I'm going to insert that clip so that y'all can see that one as well. Okay. So he ended up saying, oh, I want to take you out or whatever. And I was like, okay. Mind y'all, this is probably like a week into us knowing each other. So this is our second link up. So one of the days that I was working, I had got a KFC chicken sandwich, right? So I kid y'all not, I literally met him at my job where we met at, because you still weren't coming to my house. I parked my car in the parking lot of my job, and I left it there overnight. So I got in the car, everything was cool. And I know that I wanted to get, like, a little drink. Like, it was the weekend, you know, I had been working hard all week, and I wanted a drink. So I got a Cutwater. I'm sipping my Cutwater while he's just driving, you know. We just driving. So he started playing old school music. Literally singing to me, y'all. Singing the songs to me, grabbing my face, all type of shit, like, I was weak in the knees. But, yeah, so we singing love songs to each other while driving. And then on top of that, I'm already tipsy. So it made the vibe even more like, you know, I don't know. Y'all know the word I'm looking for. Intense, I think. Yeah, that word. But yeah, so we get to the chicken spot. He get the chicken sandwich. Afterwards, we went to go bowling. So I told him like we couldn't bring the food inside the bowling alley, obviously, because you can't bring outside food or drinks into the bowling alley. So he take the food in anyway. So the people ended up telling us like, oh, we can't bring the food in there, obviously. So he ended up grabbing the food and taking it back to the car. Came back in, and then we started to do our shit like we was bowling. While we're bowling, I kid y'all not, every time I took a loss, I'm a crybaby. So every time I took a loss, I was crying about this shit. Like, I was having a whole temper tantrum. And he was there, like, holding me, hugging me, and I'm going to insert a clip of that as well.
You having a meltdown?
Yeah, so as y'all can see, he was there in every way. Like, everything was perfect. Like, this man was damn near perfect. And I wasn't thinking nothing of it. We're kissing and shit and everything. And the both of us, like, we been together. Yeah, I was just so stuck. Tune in for part 3 of this story, y'all. Because it goes on and on and on. So, y'all, this is part 3 about me messing around with an older guy. So, I think I left off on us going bowling. We went bowling. Everything was cool. You know, we was basically together at that point. So, we're leaving bowling. Y'all gotta excuse me, I'm sick. We went to the store. And then he started asking me, like, where did I want to get a hotel at? So I told him it didn't matter. So we get to the hotel. He paid for the hotel. I go, like, we get to the room or whatever. The first thing he does is take his clothes off. Like, dead ass in front of me. Just nude. Fully nude. So he like, oh, I'm about to get in the shower. I'm like, okay, cool. So while he in the shower, I'm eating my food that we had got before we went bowling. So he comes out the shower. He eating his food. We conversating. We're chopping it up, watching. I think it was a basketball game on. So we was watching a basketball game. So this is where it get kind of juicy and explicit. So eventually, I get up. I go and take my shower. I did undress in front of him because I felt comfortable. Like, he made me feel comfortable enough to do so in front of him. So I went to go get in the shower, and I got out the shower, and I'm putting my lotion and stuff on, and the whole time he just looking at my body like, oh my God, your body's so beautiful, and blase, blase. So I literally, I kid y'all not, I told this man, I knew that he wanted to hunch, so I told him, I said, I'm low-key intimidated. I'm scared because I never did nothing with an older guy before. And he was just like, it's okay, I'm going to take care of you, da-da-da. Long story short, we ended up boop-a-doop-a-dooping. Yes. I know. Oh, my goodness. So after that, we went to sleep. We went straight to sleep. The next morning, we leave it, and I took pictures too. I'm going to insert the pictures for y'all so that y'all can see. This is the night we got the hotel, or the morning after. So, mind y'all, he had a frequent schedule every day, a daily schedule of going to the gym. So he woke me up early and was like, come on, get ready, we gotta go. He didn't take me to get no food or nothing. He just took me straight home. After that, y'all, I kid y'all not, he went ghost for probably like 2 days. I didn't talk to him. He wasn't answering the phone or nothing for 2 days straight. And then after that, he became even more secretive. Like, I would literally only talk to him when he's outside, like, in his car, driving. And I would call him at all times throughout the day, and he never answered. So then, like, my mom started knowing that I was messing around with him, and she was like, maybe he has something going on. Maybe he's married. Y'all keep saying that too, but it was not clicking in my head. I knew something was going on, but I don't know. So, y'all, this is part 4, the last and final part. So, y'all, I'm getting tired of talking about this shit. But no, so like I was telling y'all, he kept asking to come in my house so I could do his hair, and I just kept like downplaying, like, you know, my stepdad won't allow that and so on and so forth. Which he wouldn't. But yeah, so he ended up saying, oh, let's get a hotel room so that you can do my hair. Our first hotel room, it was literally just a hotel room, and then I was supposed to do his hair, but I ended up like leaving my comb. So probably like 2 weeks later, we ended up getting another hotel. Well, he ended up getting another hotel. So this time we go straight to the hotel room. Like we meet up and we went straight to the hotel room. Mind y'all, we went to the hotel room. I met him at the hotel room. Actually, we met at the hotel room. Like, I drove myself. The first time he drove us or whatever, but the second time, I drove myself. So, y'all, he had a bag of food, and I'm wondering, like, why he didn't give me no food. Like, you knew we was about to be together. You asked me to come to the hotel room, and then you go, like, get food. It'd just be little shit for me. Like, you gonna get food and not get me no food? So, that rubbed me the wrong way. So, y'all, at this point, I'm still dumb over this man. So I ended up telling him that I would wash his hair. Mind y'all, he had braids in his hair already. I ended up telling him I would wash and do his hair for him. And I had everything to do his hair. Mind y'all, free of charge. So we literally get in the shower together. And I'm washing his hair, conditionering it, detangling it, all type of shit. Like, this process took probably about an hour. We was in the shower for an hour. So we get out the shower. I blow dry his hair. And, yeah, I get out the shower, I blow dry his hair, and he was like, I'm gonna insert the clip of me, like, recording his hair, trying to show him, like, how much hair he had or whatever, so on and so forth. So, yeah, everything was cool. I braided his hair, birds came out, tea as fuck. I'm gonna show y'all the birds at the end. Because I don't feel like scrolling and all of that extra shit. I already just have to scroll for that shit. But, I mean, for that video. But, yeah. Y'all, right after I got done with his braids, why did he lay on his back? Mind y'all. I had to go to work. I had to go to work. Probably like an hour before. Mind y'all, it took me 30-40 minutes to drive to my job from where the hotel was. So he lay on his back. I'm like, what you doing? I kid y'all not. He said, come suck it. He said, come suck it. And guess what I did? I sucked it. Oh my God, y'all, don't judge me. Oh, shit. I'm fine. I'm okay. But no, I went down there and I sucked it like I never sucked something before. So y'all, after that, y'all know he finished or whatever. Say no. No, absolutely not. If my family see this, I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. But no, for real. So then he ended up asking me, like, what time you gotta go to work? Mind you, he know what time I gotta go to work. So me being me, I was already turned up just off doing what I did to him. So I ended up telling him, like, I'll go on my app or whatever and, you know, take off for the first hour. I'll use my time for another hour so we can have more time to do what I knew he wanted to do. Obviously. So yeah, I kid y'all not. I forgot a part, y'all. So when I was doing his hair or whatever, he was trying to show me a video and he ended up going to his recent apps and I seen that he was texting somebody. And I watched a female name pop up on his phone. That was my red flag. That's when I knew something was up. That's when I knew to, like, you know, yeah, this when I knew. Like, this nigga is a hoe. He's a hoe. But no, though. Yeah, so I ended up going to my app. Used my time for that hour. And we got to Pound Town. Going to Pound Town. Y'all, why did this man ask to get me pregnant? Run from that broken. I don't know. I might be having a little bit of withdrawal, y'all. We're not gonna talk about that though. We're not gonna talk about that. Like literally begging me, like for real, stop. Bro, I play too much. Oh my god, lock in. Like what? Y'all, I was not going for that pregnancy shit. Like he was begging to impregnate me. So y'all, my god, he did put when he was finna. He did take off the rubber and did it on my backside, right? I hopped straight up after that. And I went to the bathroom. I wiped it off with a fresh hotel white towel. Y'all, why the fuck was it green? Why was it green? It was green and slimy. I kid y'all not, I was disgusted. Y'all, I didn't even say nothing. I didn't know how to come across it. I didn't know how to say anything about it. I looked at it. I got disgusted. I gagged a little maybe. And went right back in there in his face like nothing happened. Like nothing happened. So after that, I'm not gonna lie, that kind of like fucked up my mood and threw my energy off a little bit. Cause I'm like, what the fuck? And he knew that. Like I went in there, I laid down with him for a second, and then I was like, I gotta go. I got up, got ready, and went to fucking work. Till this day, I still never even brought it up to him. Like I still have not brought it up to him. But yeah, he was always telling me like, oh, I'm going to the Navy or whatever for training to be a pilot and some more shit. Long story short, after that, he ghosted me. After that last time, he ghosted me.
Story time on how I went out with my homegirl, and on my way home from the club, she called my husband to make sure I made it home. Whew. Story time on how my ex-friend called my husband after we went out to let him know or make sure that I made it home safely after a night at the club. So I'll start by saying that I didn't think this video was going to get feedback like it did, so I wasn't prepared to really like tell the full story. I will say that her and I are no longer friends. That is true. When I went out, it was for her birthday, and you guys had a lot of questions that I had, but here's the truth, and it's still some unanswered questions, but I'll just get straight to it. We're getting ready to go out for her birthday. We're gonna say that the girl name is KJ, okay? We're gonna say she was turning 35. So it's KJ 35th birthday. We all go out, real impromptu. When it's time to go, everybody leaves, including her. And it's, you know, hey, make sure you get home safe. Hey, make sure you get home safe. Text me when you make it. Text me, call me, whatever. All the things that we normally say as girls. So my husband, this particular night, he has my location. And when I left the club, I ended up calling my cousin. So my cousin is on Vegas time. I'm on New York time, right? So we're on the phone talking about when she's coming into town and what we about to do or whatever. And I talked to her the entire way home. I'm about 30 minutes from my house, okay? So I get home. We left the club at probably midnight. It was not super late, maybe 12:30, something like that. It wasn't super, super late. So when I left, I know I had told my husband, like, I'm gonna get home, wake you up or whatever, so I'm gonna be texting you. So we had been texting the whole night, and I didn't call him. I called my cousin to talk to her. My phone never rung, not once. While I was on the phone with my cousin, my phone never rung. I never got a text, not even from my husband. I didn't get a call, but I was on the phone. So maybe I missed it. Maybe I missed it. When I get home, I open the garage, I get in, I park my car, I take my shoes off, take my clothes off, I'm downstairs, kids free, no kids at the house, and I'm still on the phone. because to my knowledge, my husband is asleep. And I told him I was going to wake him up, right? So he could stay asleep. As I'm sitting here talking on the phone, probably 10, 15 minutes then went by. I can't even, it might even been longer because I be playing on the phone. We talking, having a time. Next thing you know, I hear creeping come down the stairs. And my husband is standing in front of me with his phone in his hand looking like, bae, you good? I'm like, yeah, you good? Like, I'm startled, but he not. And he kind of like, you talked to KJ? I'm like, he like, yeah, KJ just called me 3 times on Instagram looking for you, trying to make sure you made it home safe. When he says this, I say, huh? My cousin say, huh? Huh? We both, huh? And he looking like, yeah. She called me on Instagram 3 times. I'm like, let me see the phone. Let me see. I'm immediately confused because I got so many questions. One, did you call me? I look at my phone. No, she didn't call. She didn't text. Not once, not twice, nothing. So
look at them lips, bro. Damn.
I'm not attracted to you.
my biggest issue is not that my friend was being nosy and I was being insecure. I'll get into the messages on the phone, but when she initially called my husband, I find that alarming because nowhere did you reach out to me. You didn't text me. You didn't call me. You didn't go to voicemail. You were being messy and you wanted a window, a door to be open because not only did you not try to reach out to me in my Instagram, you found a way to know my husband's name on Instagram by heart, search it, call it, the timestamp multiple times, and then when he finally answered the phone, you didn't immediately say nothing about me. He asked you, were you okay? And that's when you said, yeah. Asking, was Queen okay? Like, it don't make sense to me. And then when I finally called her and said, hey, what the fuck? I didn't even have to say nothing. I said, what the fuck on the phone? This girl goes, oh my God, Queen, I'm so sorry. I didn't even mean to. You didn't mean to what? You didn't mean to what? You didn't mean for me to be at home when you thought I wasn't going home and me and my husband to be together at that time. He has my location. Nothing to hide. What were you really about to do? And what were you about to say? What was it that you were being messy about? That shit is completely weird to me on any way, shape, or form. I have a ton of friends who have my husband's number, who can call my husband whenever they feel like it. Hell, I was engaged and proposed to by surprise because my husband talked to all of my girlfriends. So, no, that shit weird as hell. It's weird. That's weird. And I wanted to bring it to TikTok attention because I was like, maybe I'm tripping and it's like a girl code that maybe I don't know. And, you know, like somebody was like, well, you should have gave her the player where you was going before you went home. No, I'm grown. I'm married. I can mind my own business. I was doing it. If you wanted to talk to me or check on me, you should have done that, but you didn't. When you left that club, whatever you thought was going on in your head, you called my husband on Instagram first. And you don't have his number. And even then, now that we didn't fast forward and I'm asking you over repeatedly, what did you want? You have no fucking story. Your story is still the same. I didn't know that you were okay. I was going to call you. I thought I had called you first, but no, you did not. And you're pissing me off.
When I initially got my husband's phone and looked at the thread that was from Instagram, the first thing I saw was her call him. No answer. Call again. No answer. Then a message and said, hey, are you up? No response. Can we stop at the hey, are you up? This whole narrative that you were calling to make sure I made it home safely is something that I put out there because I was assuming that's the only reason that you will be calling my husband after we leave the club, because you're making sure I made it home safely. That's why I said maybe she was calling to make sure I made it home safely. And even I asked him because my husband's immediate response was I was checking on her. I wanted to make sure she was good when I came downstairs because why would she call me? I just watched you get all the way home. I have your location. If you were checking on me when I talked to her the next day and she was like, well, no, my bad, I'm sorry. I probably didn't even give her time to really even explain because I don't understand. And why did you text my husband and say, hey, are you up?
wish that was you, huh?
I'm gonna wrap it up. We're done talking about it. Seriously, for one, I gave y'all a 15-second video to start off, and y'all took it and filled the whole. Y'all gave a whole Tubi movie for what happened to me. It's crazy, crazy work. This is the last video about the story time on how my friend called my husband off of Instagram and also text him, "Hey, is you up?" Can I add that her and I are no longer friends. We no longer talk. We don't follow each other on social media. You're not going to see me with her. You're not going to hear me talking about this child of God anymore. So, that being said, I'm not going to tell you guys who it is. I'm absolutely 100% sure if you ask me, no. The answer is no. You're not getting that. This wasn't intended to start any beef or drama or bring internet drama and beef, you know? It happened to me, and I felt the need to share it because when it first happened, I was in complete shock, and I kept bringing it to my husband's attention. Like, it bothered me, and I kept saying, like, no, but if this was guys, that would have never happened. Like, what if I didn't want to come home? Like, lucky I am. Like, all the things I thought about. But what if you just was being weird and you caught my husband and you reached out and you were just inappropriate? And the truth is you were wrong, and there are boundaries, and I have to set them. And so this is a great reason to stop being friends with a grown woman. It is a great absolute reason, because if you think this is so minute and you'll do this for here, I don't want to see you in my next lifetime and my next seasons doing stuff like this. It's not cool to me. I find it weird, so I remove you. Same way I choose to tell the story time behind it. Everybody keep asking questions about it not making sense. You know why? Because it don't make sense. It sounds, because it do. It sounds insane. It sounds crazy. It's not funny. And a lot of the comments, like I said, I gave y'all a 15-second video, and y'all filled everything you could think of up. And I get it, and I thank you, and I appreciate you. I just find it weird. It was so many different other occasions with her and our relationship that I felt like things were kind of weird. So when this happened, mind you, I'm coming out to celebrate your birthday. So that means I don't know the people that I'm here with. I may have saw them in passing and things, but I don't know them. So I can't even call and say, hey, did she call you to make sure you made it home? Did she call your husband? Did she? Because I was here. I was the outsider. So I minded my business. If it was your birthday, what was so pressing that you had to call and make sure I made it home? It was like 12 people there. Did you call everybody else? Husband, or just mine? Questions I want to know. Questions you never were able to answer. Questions you kept apologizing, talking about you were just so drunk and this is, you wasn't thinking straight. You thought straight enough the text. The conversation, the thread, everything is there. Like, I honestly don't think she was trying to take my husband, or like this didn't happen like yesterday. So this is something that happened a while ago, and I just ended up just now telling a story about it because I kept asking people, you pray for signs and wonders, and you know. There's one too many times I thought you was weird and you wanted my life a little bit, and then when you do something like this, I just feel like, So it's like, come on, guys. You know it's more to the story. You know it's a reason why I'm not this girl's friends anymore. Let's just say, like, come on. This broke the camel's back. You live and you learn.